Hello, I'm Debs. This is Debs Made This. Welcome, this is Friday Sews. So I haven't done one of these for a while, but I thought I'd just pop on and do a bit of what I've been sewing, what I'm planning to sew. There's 3 pieces of fabric that have arrived and kind of what I've been up to. So if that interests you, please stay tuned. Right, first thing to say is, I'm a bit dishevelled. I have been doing a sewing room reorganisation. Now, this is actually my dining room, our dining room. So, yeah, the reorganisation has been long needed, and I am trying really hard to do kind of one surface a day. I shall insert pictures of the 2 surfaces that I have managed to clear in the last 2 days. I have also been knee deep in my PDFs, resorting them so that they are being edited, got rid of, and then catalogued. I know, get me, who am I? Onto an Excel spreadsheet, so I can always find which PDF is where and which ones are printed out and which ones aren't printed out. I know, phenomenal. So yes, it's all been a bit kind of busy, and out with the camera thing, there's quite a lot of boxes and quite a lot of empty folders and full folders and all the kind of the usual chaos that comes when you try and sort things out. What is it about that whenever you try and sort things out, you make so much mess that you kind of almost feel like you wish you'd never started. But I have been doing a bit of sewing, not tons, because I've been mostly sorting and filing and doing all the dull stuff that makes everything else work a little bit better. So this was kind of part 2. So this is a Gilbert shirt, which is a Helens Closet pattern that I've made before. This has been made because I had some fabric left over when I was doing a toile of some trousers, and I just kind of had this idea that I would make a little coordinating set. So I would do a top and some trousers, and I've made a little vest top to go underneath as well. I don't think this is going to probably be worn this year. I'm not sure I would be liking it worn with long sleeves underneath, but never say never. I'm trying to, when I've finished a garment, trying to like play with it, style it in different ways so that I can kind of like expand its horizons a little bit when it's going into the wardrobe. This was done as a toile because in my head what I want to do is to make a jumpsuit with this as the top and then kind of a loose bottom. I have been looking at the Modern Sewing company. They've got a jumpsuit maybe called the Jessie jumpsuit, and I kind of thought I can probably do that with what I've got already. I just need to kind of work out how it would work. I have made this pattern once before without sleeves on for me, about 3 or 4 years ago when I was much smaller. Both of my girls, actually. For the eldest girl, I've used, so with Helens Closet you get the full bust pattern as well as the other pattern, which I really like. That I really it's like slightly frustrating with some of the other companies that you have to buy 2 patterns in order to get the kind of the full bust front on the same size, which seems a bit weird to me. But anyway, Helens Closet you don't, which is one of the reasons I like her. And I have made the big girl 2 or 3 shirts, I think, and I've made my 13-year-old a kind of rayon throw over top, and I kind of modified this. The long version of the sleeve is like a wide sleeve, and I just kind of made that narrowed in so she could kind of roll it up and put it over the top of things. It's got very cute little donuts in. If I can find a picture of that, I'll put that in as well. Anyway, so I decided I wanted one as well. I made an error though, definitely made an error. Now in my head I had made the 8 before, so I printed out the 10. I did measure the back piece and it seemed like it was going to be okay. And then when I've actually made it, I don't know if it's because I've ended up cutting it on the cross, which I might well have done, but it was just a little bit tight kind of across here. I'm just drawing your attention to the not bad pattern. It's not perfect, but I think there's a pattern punk frockers hashtag at the minute, which is better done than perfect. So I think that probably qualifies for that. I did have a go, but yeah, I decided that enough was enough. I had to steal a bit back then, so what I've done, because it was too tight across here when I put it on, I mean not too tight to look at, but just I felt a little bit restricted when I was moving about, so what I did was reduce the seam allowance in the back arm, and that seemed to have done the trick. It's still waiting for buttons, mostly because I couldn't find any Oh, and I also did pattern matching-ish on the pocket. Obviously, there's a dart under there. That makes it a bit more tricky. And they are to go with, I'll put in a picture of these because there is a picture, the Arthur pants. Now, I seriously love these trousers. So this is a Sew Liberated pattern. And the nice thing about Sew Liberated patterns is, A, they're really size inclusive. B, the finishing inside all of them is lovely. I think there's like 2 seams that are overlocked, which are the fly ones in the whole thing. Everything else is either flat felled or French seamed. So they really nicely finished inside. They feel lovely. I put this cute little Kylie label in that kind of went with. There are patch pockets on the back. There are slant pockets on the front. There's a proper fly. I think you're supposed to put a button on there, but I just quite liked it looking quite kind of clean at the front. So, and they are, you'll see from the picture that I'll put in, but they're kind of a balloon leg. When they first came out, I was just a bit unsure about how they would look on my increased body size and how I would feel about them. So this kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I have loved wearing these. And I have a plan to make at least 2 more pairs. These were supposed to be my 12, but I just, it's such a happy fabric, isn't it? Oh, I should have said. So the fabric was Auntie Anne's, one of Auntie Anne's duvet covers, and there's a couple more that will be making appearance in the next month or so because I am doing a vlog for Sew Upcycle 23. I think that's right. So the idea from that is that you sew something from something that wasn't previously a piece of fabric. So you kind of upcycling or recycling things that you already have. So that's what I have been making. Oh, one more thing is I have been doing the Creative Hinterland journey. So if you've done this, let me know how you got on. So this is something that's Sew Liberated launch. You pay for, and it's quite a lot of money, but when they have their sales, it gets reduced. And so I am doing, essentially you make a bodice for the Hinterland dress, but you make it as a kind of your fit bodice. So you make all the adjustments that you need so that it fits you really well before you go on to make the garment. And then there's 12 hacks that you can do, which are all sorts of things. So I'm really excited to get to them. But obviously, before you get to them, you've got to make sure that your bodice is fitting you perfectly. And mine is still needing some work. And I'm not very good at this kind of, I'm good at making toiles, don't get me wrong, but remaking the same toile and making little adjustments just is a different kind of sewing than I'm used to. But I recognise that it's going to be a really good process, and I'm going to end up with a bodice block that's really useful. So I'm going to take the sleeves off again and then redo this. So there's a group you can get comments from Judith, who is one of the designers at Sew Liberated. So she comments on your pictures and helps you with your fitting process. So I had done a block process before in a workshop, which was a single day or 2 days, and I didn't end up with a usable block at all. But I think that was probably the teacher rather than the process. Right, I'm going to do fabric and then I'll do what I'm planning to sew. So I hope that's all right. So the first fabric that arrived is for a friend. So this, she loves elephants. Like, she's completely elephant obsessed. This hasn't been washed, so if it looks a bit odd, that's why. So this is a block print that's come from India. You can see it's slightly sheer, but what she wants made with it is very gathered, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know whether she'll let me share pictures and things when it's done, but I just thought you might like to see the fabric. So it takes about took about 3 weeks to get here. It's not as good quality as the other block print that I ordered, and that's the problem, is you can't feel the fabric to know, can you? But it'll be fine for what we've ordered it for. I think it was about £30, 20 something pounds, £30 for 6 yards of fabric, although it is very narrow. And this is, yeah, kind of a metre-ish wide. And has these, yeah, it's black with these lovely printed elephants on, which is quite cute. So I'm hoping that'll produce something that she likes and she'll wear, but we'll see. So that's number 1. Number 2 and number 3 came from Sister Mintaka, and these are my birthday fabrics. So my birthday was in May. I got vouchers for my birthday, and I have been waiting to decide what I was going to buy. And then I realised that at least one of these was probably going to sell out if I didn't buy it. So I kind of took a deep breath and bought. So what I bought was, number one, this viscose linen. I think it's viscose linen. I'll put the composition in the thing. If it's still available, I shall link it. This is beautiful. Again, this hasn't been washed either, you can tell. But it is this lovely blue colour. The drape on this is really nice. The handle is lovely. And this was going to be a dress, but apparently it takes 4 meters, so I'm not sure there's going to be enough to show you the dress that I was going to make, and then I'll have a think about what else I'm going to do with it. But it is very lovely, and I can't wait to sew something up in it. Number 3 is one that is going to have to be sewn up, otherwise I'm going to get the fear. So this, look at this. This is a Liberty silk. This is probably the most expensive fabric I have ever ordered or sewn with. It is called Prospect Road. I've got the right way up, yeah. And my plan, I think, is just to make a shirt out of this. I don't want to mess with it too much. I have 1.5 meters, about 130 odd wide. And I just, it's not even really my normal colour palette, but I just couldn't resist. I just thought it was beautiful. So I'm thinking the Pattern Scout birdie shirt is probably what I'm going to make with it. But I do have a slight feeling that I might want to make a Pauline Alice Rayner, but I'm not sure I've got quite enough, but we'll see, because it's going to be directional, but we'll see. So yes, the plan is to make a shirt, probably the Pattern Scout birdie, but maybe the Pauline Alice Rayner. I think I have one really rubbish picture of my Pauline Alice Rayner that I made before. If I can find it, I'll put it in. But it has a V, rouleau loops, a forward yoke, and then gathers, and then a big sleeve with a big cuff. So it looks really like loads of things that, like say, it would be like the Nick's dress, a bit like lots of other things, but actually it was probably the first blouse that I ever made. And I really like it, so I might make another one of those. Other sewing plans are, my eldest, who's 17, keeps stealing my Mitchell trousers. I made some in a navy window pane check, so the navy with a pink check on them. And I loved them, and she's stolen them. So I'm going to make it, I think, probably these, the Marsha style pants, Alexis pants. And they are just kind of flat front with a pleat, the same, and then a little belt. They have like a pocket flap thing, but you can omit that. So I might just twirl that and see whether she likes it or not. Actually, yeah, on that, I'll insert it if you can't see it on that. This is the Ella dress. Now I quite excitedly run, you know, the Fold Line, the Facebook group. They run like a weekly challenge, and you put what your most recent make is, and somebody gets selected at random to win a £15 voucher. And I won a £15 voucher. And instead of buying something that was on my queue, like the Jessie jumpsuit, I kind of got carried away and bought this. Now, I had signed up to do, I'm like right at the top end of the original pattern release size of this, because it only went to a 42, I think, on the first release. And so I'd signed up to be like in the extended size range pattern test group, but I didn't get selected. So I'd kind of been thinking about it. So when I got like free pattern, I just thought I'll get this. But it takes 4 meters of fabric, and I have nothing. I mean, I've got 4 meters of a Liberty lawn that was supposed to be made into something about 4 years ago, and 4 meters of a fabric that's I'm supposed to be making my sister-in-law an Elodie with, but I'm still waiting for her measurements 2 years on. If Nicola, if you are watching this, give me your measurements so that you can have that dress. Otherwise, I'm likely to use your fabric. So I ended up getting just some white, very good quality cotton from our fabric thrifting place, which is called the Cone Exchange in Harrogate. And so I got some cotton, thinking that I'm going to make it in that, and then if I like it, I can dye it. I think it would genuinely look like an IT if I make it in white cotton. So I am going to have to do something with it, but I kind of would like to make it up first of all and see what adjustments I need to make. So watch this space, and that one will be coming. Continuing with the reorganisation of the space. If that's something that interests you, that kind of filtering, filing process, it's kind of the antithesis of the creative thing that I do, but I just recognise that what I tend to do is to buy the same patterns. So I'll buy something and I've already got something that's nearly identical. So if nothing else, what I've done is go through every single PDF pattern that I've got printed out and either got rid of it if it's not in the size that fits me, or if I don't think I'm going to make it again. And the ones that I've kept are the ones that I think I'm going to make. And then they're all like documented by which box they're in, so I'll be able to find them. And I've also put like the size and things, so I can know where I am with that. So yeah, I get my star for for pattern reorganization. I get like a brownie badge for that or something. So yes, wherever you are in the world, I hope that you are having a wonderful time. Let me know how you're getting on with reorganizing space. I think it's kind of a September thing, whichever hemisphere you're in, to want to kind of clean and tidy and sort out. And I'm very much like having some kind of empty spaces in the house for me to kind of rest my eyes on. So yes, let me know if you have got a foolproof scheme for getting reorganized and staying reorganized. That's my kind of jinx, is that I can't manage to keep it once I get it. But there you go. So there you go. I felt like that was all a bit flurried. My camera's been playing up, so I hope it doesn't come across as flurried. And I will be along very soon with more videos. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're finding time to rest and replenish and to do some making if that's something that brings you joy. And I shall say bye-bye and I'll catch you soon. God bless. Bye-bye for now.